Yo, so I wanted to make a video talking about business and how it's actually not guaranteed. These are the reasons why maybe you should reconsider even starting a business or a brand in the first place. And this has come about from a question or a conversation that we had in a brand that we are currently building. And it's growing, it's profitable, but this video is more just to talk about the realities of like how profit is made in a brand or a business and like people's expectations, because I think people's expectations of how long it takes to grow a brand and a business is been misconstrued. And if you're looking at starting a brand yourself watching this video, I hope this gives you clarity and complete transparency about what it actually takes financially as well as expectations, because there's so much bullshit going around online right now of like, oh, you can build a successful brand in 60, 90 days, you can make all this money, do all this, blah, blah, blah. And I think a lot of it is just complete horseshit. And yeah, there are people that can grow this fast, but for the mass majority of people watching this, it takes time, it takes effort, it takes capital, right? So I'm just going to give you an example. We started a brand called Apex Goggles, or Apex Series, let's call it that. And our first main product is a pair of mountain bike goggles. And as of right now, the brand is growing, it is doing well, it's profitable. It is fairly slow growth. The growth is definitely on an upward trajectory based on how much investment myself and the business partners I'm involved with are putting money into the business, right? But I think people believe that they put a certain amount of money in, a certain amount of capital into a business, and then it kind of just things just happen and the business grows automatically and magically, when that's not what happens. So let's say, for example, you have a product and you source that product from China or overseas or somewhere. You have to invest in stock. If this is a physical products business, you invest in stock. You put money in and a supplier gives you products back, and you then sell those products for a higher price than you bought them for, which then that's the profit you make from the business. Phone just rang. So you have a product, you invest in the product from the supplier sends you the product, you then sell that product at a higher price than you bought it for. That's the profit for your business, right? Now, when you're starting a business, you have something called an MOQ, and I don't want to teach you to suck eggs or anything like that, but MOQ is minimum order quantity from a supplier. And when you first start, if you have, say, minimal capital to start a business or a brand, the likelihood is you're not going to be able to afford the super high MOQ levels or the super high order quantities from a supplier that will get you better pricing per unit. Because obviously the more you buy from a supplier, the better unit price you get, which then means when you sell your product, you can sell it and make more profit per unit. In the beginning though, you make less profit per unit because you're buying the products for more expensive per unit because you're not buying as many of them, right? So I think people get this mixed up and believe that once they've put their capital into a business, that's all it needs to grow. And in some instances that can be true. Say, for example, if you were selling a digital product, you have very little overhead other than your time in creating the product. Maybe you put some money into paid advertising, you're paying for a website builder and some subscriptions like that. It's almost like a minimal expenses compared to a physical products brand, which is arguably more expensive, right, to get into. Now, when you invest your initial bit of capital into the first batch of products, that's not the only amount of capital you should be thinking about investing. You need to think about this longer term, because for a business and brand to grow and reach the levels of success that you want it to reach, you have to continually be fueling that fire. Okay, it is literally like a fire. If you stop stoking it and stop giving it what it needs to grow, i.e. capital, it will stop growing, or your business will like cease to exist, right? So with our situation with Apex and another brand I'm involved with, I think people believe that you invest one chunk of money and then that's it, and you don't have to invest anything else. And that can be the case for some brands, right? It can start from the beginning and start funding itself. But for most people watching this, you're going to have to put in more capital to keep the business going and to keep it growing. And that capital goes towards reordering product, investing into development and the stock of new products, It can go into expenses such as influencer marketing, paid advertising, all sorts of subscriptions that go along with starting a physical products brand. So I just wanted to get that clear, because I think people have this condensed timeline that it takes like 30 or 60 days to grow a successful brand. It doesn't from scratch. It literally doesn't. Unless you're someone like with a massive profile name who can literally just slap their name on anything and it will start selling. Most people aren't like that. People like me and you have to put the groundwork in to building a name for ourselves, a brand, getting our brand in front of people, convincing them why they should buy it, getting testimonials and reviews, and then growing the flywheel that way. And this takes constant time, constant reinvestment, constant capital to grow. That's just the nature of business. And this is something that I am learning as I am growing this brand as well as other things I'm involved with. It's not like I don't want to make a video and make you feel like I'm sat on a pedestal telling you should do this, you should do that. I'm telling you things from complete, just transparent experience of what I am going through right now to grow one of the brands I'm involved with. The timeline and capital investment and expectation to grow a brand from scratch needs to be extrapolated out, and people need to have a longer term approach to building a brand. If it's something they want to do, right? If they're getting in this just for a quick buck, if you're watching this and you think, oh God, I'd love to start a brand. I'd love to start making money from this brand within 60 days, 30 days. You're literally bullshitting yourself. I'll tell you that up front. You're not, that's the wrong attitude, the wrong mentality. You need to think about this as in like 6, 12 month increments, or either think about this as something you're going to do for the rest of your life. If you're that passionate about it, which I am, right? I want to build brands and assets that I can, if I choose to sell them. And to do that, I have to think in 6, 12 month timelines and even longer. And if it's something I can see I'm doing for the rest of my life, why should it even matter how long it's going to take? Because I'm going to be working at this every single goddamn day to grow this thing, right? So that's the expectation thing about business. It's not guaranteed. Success is not guaranteed. So don't listen to anybody who tells you it is guaranteed, because it's not. Also, think about things in a longer term picture. I'm just giving you the truth. I know a lot of people on YouTube will tell you can do this in 30, 60 days, and people have got super short attention spans. Ignore all that. Like, listen to like what I'm doing. Well, if you choose not to, then that's fine. But I'm just telling you things from complete experience of what I'm going through, and to get you to understand it's going to take you longer than you probably think to grow this brand to a point where it's creating you passive income or money from just thin air, right? It doesn't work like that until you reach those higher level order quantities where the product's profit you're making per unit and the velocity of sales is literally fueling the growth, and that alone, right? It takes a while to get to that. So do not be misled into thinking it doesn't. But I hope this video has been useful, and I'll see you in the next one.